When I say UNLV football, you probably don't get excited. When I was growing up in 1980s and 90s, UNLV was just terrible at football for the most part, just terrible. Basketball was unbelievable. The running Rebels. Well, now basketball there is just kind of whatever, but football's good. One of the reasons why is the second quarterback / offensive coordinator candidate, and that is Brennan Marion. He was with Norvell at Arizona State in 2015, and he's an interesting candidate for the following reasons. Not only has he been with him, but he's been an offense coordinator. He's been a quarterback coach. He's a guy that's coached receivers. He's coached running backs. He's been all around offense. I think that's a very important thing. He's a guy that's also from Pennsylvania, which is kind of nice. Again, he's got a contact outside the Deep South, and he's coached all over the United States. He's been at Arizona State, Oklahoma Baptist, Howard, William and Mary, Hawaii, Pittsburgh, Texas, UNLV. He has a lot of contacts around the country. It's not as Deep South dependent. I'd like to see him have experience in the state of Florida, which he does not. But at the same time, he's got experience in the Deep South a little bit. So let's see what he can do. Texas having that tie is humongous, by the way, because they recruit everywhere. But he does have ties to Norvell, so I think it'd be pretty good. Here are some of the numbers and some of the things to consider. He's 37 years old, so he's another young guy. Again, Kerwin's son, Cade Bell, is only 31, but he was at Pittsburgh in 2021. Why is that relevant? He was the wide receiver coach. Jordan Addison was there. Remember that whole to-do about him transferring to USC after his great sophomore year? Well, his receiver coach was Bell. Here are his stats from that season. 100 catches, 1,593 yards, and 17 touchdowns. At Pittsburgh. After the first couple games, everybody in the stadium, everybody knew they were going to throw it to Addison, and they still did it. Technique, play calling, scheme, confidence, all of that went together. Addison was by far the best receiver in college football. He was ridiculous. He was really good at USC too, with that more talent, and he had a little bit of a blend of where they threw the ball, but he was still good when he transferred. But he got his comeuppance by learning, hey, this is how you really do it. Once Bell got there, I mean, he was okay as a freshman, but his sophomore year, again, 100 catches, 1,593, and 17 scores. That's a lot of learning in 1 year. Like, he was a solid player his freshman year, but sophomore year just exploded. Here are a couple other interesting stats. 2022, he goes to Texas. Bell does pretty good there. He's a passing game coordinator, receiver coach. Again, no receiver coach. Remember Xavier Worthy? Also sophomore that year. He was kind of like Addison. Pretty good player as a freshman. But his sophomore year totals put things in perspective. Again, a balanced offense, but he was the leading receiver. 60 catches, 760 yards, 12.7, and 9 touchdowns. Flat out their go-to guy in the passing game, and obviously Sarkisian's a passing game guru, but he relied on him. Right after that, he takes the opportunity to go to UNLV. He's had a pretty good career, but this is where it gets interesting. If you didn't follow it, Saluka, or so, I forget the kid's name, but a kid with the whole deal with the NIL, the quarterback, he leaves. Well, it actually kind of worked out for them because right now, I don't think they care. Malik Williams is killing it. Their quarterbacks in general, they played 2 or 19 touchdowns and 4 interceptions for their ratio. That's almost 5-1. Malik Williams is a dude. And to be honest with you, if you look at their overall numbers, they're averaging 39.8 points per game, which is just tremendous. That's 7th in the NCAA. Passing game, 177.6. That's 117. You say, wait a minute, but hold on. Rushing, 248.7. Malik Williams is a tremendous runner. He could play running back. He's that athletic. And total offense, 426.2, 38th. They do. I went and watched film of Malik Williams. He could throw it. And they run a unique offense that has some Norvell tendencies with option put in. It's a lot like what Florida State ran with Jordan Travis, but they also throw the ball with a lot of touch. Like you can tell he knows when to throw a level 3 ball, one that had some loop to it and lets the receiver run under it. And he'll throw a zip pass when he has to dial one in a tight window. He's been coached well. I think that Martin's done a really good job with him. And this is a guy that didn't even get all the reps in fall camp. And he's doing pretty good. So here are the numbers right now. Again, he hasn't played all the games, hasn't gotten all the reps, but Hajj Malik Williams, 87 of 136, 64%, 1,192 yards, 8.8 per attempt, which is pretty darn good. 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. As for the ability for the Rebels to throw the football, they also have some interesting receiver numbers. They've got one guy that just dominates. I don't know who he is, but Ricky White is killing it. 58 catches, 799 yards, 13.8, and 10 touchdowns. I'd say teams are going to be looking to stop him, but they've done a great job. It's kind of like the situation with Jordan Addison. That's really intriguing to me. So now back to looking at Brennan. This is a wild career. It really is. West Valley, wherever that is, a wide receiver coach. Harker School in California, receiver coach. St. Patrick, St. Vincent High School in California. Like, he started out in the high school ranks and has made it this far. Now he is at Arizona State as the offensive quality control. Norvell gave him his first break. There he was. He was at a high school in Pennsylvania. Norvell found him. He ends up at Arizona State. He ends up at Oklahoma Baptist, Howard, William and Mary, Hawaii, Pittsburgh, Texas, and now UNLV. He has coached across the country. I think that's going to be valuable, and he has picked up a lot of experience under many different people in the last 10 years. If Florida State wants to get back to the roots that Norvell went with, they should at least call it. And I would be surprised, to be honest, if Norvell has not contacted Bell already, because he is a fit. Dual threat quarterback, totally has experience with it. He's led an offense that can really throw it. That offense at Pittsburgh in 2021 speaks for itself. The opportunity to work with Sarkisian, 2022 at Texas, also explains it. The receivers, not just good, they were elite national players, went on to the National Football League that he was directly responsible for. You can make an argument when you look at all things considered, including Florida State's awkward situation. Like, let's be honest, Norvell doesn't have a lot of security right now. This guy's worked with him. He's proven as a receiver coach, and Wardley knows the Noles need a new receiver coach, so he would fit. You could make him the wide receiver coach for the Noles, and he could help Norvell with play calling, maybe even take it over. And Norvell could just kind of help with the game planning and be more of a CEO, game manager as the head coach, which I think is best. That's what Bowden did. He was an offensive guy, but, he let his coordinators coach a lot more than most. And that's why Florida State kept coaches, by the way, from back in the day. Just as a little extra shout out to Bowden. It was a very smart move. I'm really high on Bell coming. I know he's not coached at a lot of places, or not Bell. I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. Marion coaching. I just think that the only thing is the recruiting hasn't included Florida directly. He hasn't coached at a school in Florida. That's the one knock, but that's pretty small.